Echoes of Duviri, new update coming to Warframe, and we don't have the patch notes yet because the update isn't officially out as of making this video. But we have the next best thing. Details on what we're going to get, what they're going to do, quality of life, and other changes. So let's check those out. I guess it's also worth noting that these changes will go into effect on July 27th. So later on this week, actually. So let's see. These are the main key points here. Enhanced damage numbers, Overguard for Warframes, Cold Impact and Puncture status changes, and new Incarnon Acquisition, as in new way to get Incarnon. Okay, so the enhanced damage numbers, they have a slider, so you can actually turn that on or off, which I think is a good thing, because not everyone wants to change how the damage numbers work. So they basically made it so you have a damage number scale if you want. That way you can scale it to like super extreme, so you can basically live out all of your DMC, Devil May Cry, fantasy type damage numbers and whatnot. I don't know where I was going with that, but bear with me. And yeah, it seems not bad at all. Compact damage numbers, basically what you're seeing on screen on the right is compact. So like instead of 209,191, you would just see a straight 200. Well, it said 93 here, but that's because these are two different things. But yeah, I suppose you would see 209K or 210K if they round up based on that. So it's just compacting the damage numbers. It doesn't actually change how much damage you do. It just makes it easier to, I guess, read. But if you don't want it that way, you don't have to have it that way. You can actually do it perfectly. It said that was initially released on PC and required extra work to get on console. That's what I was reading there. So you can expect it now with Echoes of Duviri. Oh, also, here's an example. 100,357K would be shortened to 100K instead of 100,357, it would be 100K. So it looked like they're doing round, typical 4 under, round down, 5 up, round up type thing. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but the damage numbers will still be the same. And then, here, we also, there's a little bit more details on there. Okay. With the system, it's a toggle on, refresh damage number apparent, prioritize critical hits, custom ability damage. Oh, okay, so they're adding it to the HUD. So you can actually change the colors. Because right now, this is, regular critical yellow, big critical orange, super critical red, and whatnot. Honestly, I never noted the super critical hit and the headshot. Two different shades of red. I just never paid attention. And then ability damage is blue. Oh, ability damage. That makes sense, actually. That makes sense. Now, let's look at Overguard improvements. With Duviri came the first instance of Warframes using Overguard, and the 7 Crimes of Calero solidified this mechanic as part of various Warframe kits. So basically, I made a video not long ago explaining how I believe Frost and Frost Prime get a buff because their whole thing turned into an Overguard thing. Rhino's shield is now an Overguard thing. And it says now that players have access to Overguard consistently, we have made some adjustments to improve the quality of life in this new health state due to the variety of sources of Overguard. There was occasionally inconsistencies on how it behaved regarding proc immunity. With Echoes of Duviri, all sources of player Overguard will offer full proc immunity while active. Oh, okay. Oh, did that mean procs as in, does that mean procs as in like procs like heat and whatnot? Because that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, if that's what it means. Similar to shields, player overguards will now offer a brief moment of invulnerability, currently 0.5 seconds once depleted. This window will prevent players with overguard from being one-shot. Okay. So basically, kind of like a shield gating type thing, not overguard seen on enemies. So basically, they are clarifying the difference between player overguard and overguard seen on enemies. That's cool. That's cool. Also, hit impact visuals. Overguard now has its own unique appearance when attacked. Okay. Status changes. Okay. I am liking this quite a bit. Puncture changes. Weakened status effect buffs. Increased the debuff to enemy attacks from 30% to 40% on the first stack. Reduced the maximum amount of stacks from 10 to 5. Increased the per stack debuff from 5% to 10%. Increased the total debuff at max stacks from 75% to 80%. I'm not too sure how the math works out. I'll believe it technically a buff, but I'm not really sure how that works out. I guess I'll have to see if it will have any impact at all, because it seems like they kind of reduced, then added to not make it more powerful, but I don't know how much more of a buff that makes it. Then they also increased critical chance threshold on enemy by 5% per stack to a maximum of 25% at 5 stacks. This is additive after mods, not before. Does not apply to abilities or AoE. Then we have impact changes, which, let's see, stagger status effect changes. Reduced the maximum amount of stacks from 10 to 5. Okay, so it looks like they are just reducing stacks altogether. I guess we'll see how much or how little. So we'll see there. Increased the mercy threshold from 4% to 8% per stack. That functionality allows for player to trigger early mercy kills with less stacks required. Oh, okay. Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. One of my biggest complaints about the mercy kill system is that you'll have to get them to the point where they're almost dead anyway. I mean, most of the time they die before I can mercy kill them. So, yeah. Okay, we have cold damage. Oh, it turns out that these are the only three they're changing. Okay, so cold damage. Increased the maximum amount of stacks from 8 to 9. Oh, that's got an increase in stacks. Increased additional per stack slow from 3.5% to 5%. Increased the maximum slow effect from 75% to 90%. While we previously mentioned buffing cold slow effect to 85 in our last update, we mistakenly only increased it to 75 instead. So they're increasing it to 90. Okay, that's cool. Increased the critical damage taken by an enemy by 10% on initial status effect. Subsequent stacks increase this debuff by 5% to a maximum of 50%. This is additive after mods, not before. And finally, we have the new Incarnon Acquisition. So the new way you'll get Incarnon weapons. With Echoes of Duviri, we are adding another batch of Incarnons to the circuit system. Gorgon, Boar, Engstrom, Gamma Core, and Anku. Regarding the current Steel Path circuit reward path program, we want to give players the fastest access to the new Incarnon post-launch. As a result, we are altering the current Steel Path circuit rewards, and they will show up next rotation, aka July 30th. Here is the updated offering rotation schedule for the Steel Path circuit. You can pause it here if you want to read them, but basically they added a week 7 and pushed the new ones to week 2 instead of them being added to week 7. In addition, to acquire the new Incarnon Genesis via the Steel Path circuit reward, the respective adapters will be available for purchase at Calero with Platinum in the new Incarnon market. Once the Incarnon market is live on July 30th, it will remain accessible with the offerings regardless of what week's rotation we're on, as previously discussed on DevStream 172. Now, they do mention that this is a test of sorts. I believe the exact term they use is experiment. This experiment. So only these 5 will be for this experiment. Now, I honestly would like to know your guys' opinions in the comment section below. Do you Are you guys liking the idea of this? Would you rather just buy the Incarnon adapters, or would you like to continue to farm for them? Because that's actually a lot you're gonna do to farm for them. You're gonna unlock the Steel Path in the Duviri Paradox, and then you'll have to have some builds so you can survive the Steel Path, possibly play with other people, unless you're just that good, you could go multiple forever without anyone, even on public. Yeah. But with this, it seems like you can just buy it, and it doesn't seem like that anything that's going to be a pre-requirement for you to buy them other than you having platinum. And me personally, my stance on this is I don't mind, honestly. They're just adapted for Incarnon weapons. Incarnon weapons, since you always on, for now anyway, will have that whole guy get headshot to actually evolve it. And Conan weapon don't bring so much to the table that I would consider it paid to win. Now, if Incarnon weapon just made every weapon like super OP from the get-go, no requirement to activate it, just stayed active all the time, yeah, I would think that was pretty super OP, and we would be having a slightly different discussion. But as it stands right now, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of being able to buy them if you want them, because, I mean, they're a lot like Warframes, in my opinion, or mods for Warframes or whatnot. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts, comment section below. And I'd love, if you have a different point of view than mine, I'd love to hear it. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.